This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 11, Episode 7, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on YouTube. And I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Rick Snyder Empire. So please like, share, subscribe, and even hit that thanks button if you want. It's a dollar sign. So we're hoping Matt can get his first big $5 meal at McDonald's soon.
Yeah, you know, they don't have $5 footlongs at Subway anymore, Rick.
Oh, I haven't eaten there in a while. I moved somewhere that doesn't have a lot of places to eat and actually make it now.
Hey, with you having a heart attack, I figured you'd want some heart-conscious food. Remember, Subway is a heart-conscious restaurant.
All right. Okay. I haven't eaten there in a while, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been around 46 years covering sports, and I often say, you think you've seen it all, and then here comes something new. I've never seen a game with 7 field goals. So Washington did win a game, 21-18. And the fans were all upset. I was like, this is a game they lose every year all the time. So they actually won this one. The Giants screwed up even more. They had several chances. To me, if they lost their opening kicker, Graham Gano, who everybody remembers here, hamstring injury on the opening kickoff, they had no one to kick extra points. They tried one, didn't work. They had to go for 2 twice and failed. But yet, if they had Gano, I think it still would have been a 3-point game. It just who would have won, I don't know. But it just would have encouraged each side. Washington never punted, scored 7 field goals, which is the most in team history, and the first time they've won a game without a touchdown since 2009. I think it was the 6th time in team history. It's just it was a weird thing. And this is for a kicker who just showed up a few days earlier. So that's even more amazing. And we asked him, how have you been practicing? You go to the fields and wherever. He goes, yeah, there's a big pine tree near my house, and I just kick it toward that tree. Like, okay. Well, that might be the new way everybody works it now. We're all going to kick toward pine trees.
Yeah.
It was interesting. They managed to win one, and they played okay. I wouldn't say they played great, but they played okay most of the time. So I take it, because you're not going to get many of these.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I mean, this is a game in the past that they would lose. I mean, they were down, they were down. Well, actually, it was tied 18-18, and they get the ball back. And, this is a game in years past where they wouldn't be able to march down the field. Somebody would have a dumb fumble or throw a dumb interception, and it would end in heartbreaking defeat. But, yeah, I mean, it was, hey, look, there's one thing we can cross off the list for another week. Kicker. We got a kicker. I mean, that dude kicked more field goals in one game than the rest of the kickers we've had this year. So that's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, Dan Quinn said it today in his presser. They are a team that is still learning. They are a new team that is still learning. I think the more concerning thing, Rick, is honestly the procedural penalties down in the red zone. I mean, they had 2. They were on the 1st and 6 on the goal, 1st and goal on the 6, and they had 2 false start penalties that took them back to the 15. You can't do that, man. And then, this team has to be more disciplined, and that's what thought we were getting with Dan Quinn and Kingsbury and Joe Witt. I mean, you would expected this team to be very disciplined. They need to clean up the penalties. I understand that it's the first couple weeks, and trust me, it's been the ref show. Every game I watch, the refs have to make sure that their presence is known. I know the league is focusing a lot on that. The penalty where not everybody's up to the line. They always focus on one penalty every year. It seems like to really emphasize, and that's the one that they're focusing on this year. I mean, even when you see teams like the Chiefs do stupid penalties like that, it's the league. But yeah, I mean, that's the bigger concern, I think. I think another bigger concern for me is where is this down the field passing? Even these intermediary passes that we've heard Jaden Daniels is so good at. We saw it in the preseason with his 42-yard pass to De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown's been invisible. Terry had what, 20 some yards yesterday. The best receiver, and they finally unleashed him towards the end of the game, was Noah Brown, and that's a guy that's been here for what, a week. So I think the more concerning thing is honestly the penalties and that the passing game. I don't know if Daniels just doesn't have time because of the line. I don't know if he's going through his progressions properly. I don't know if anybody's open, but it seems like Jaden steps back. If his first option ain't there, then he's just either going to take off and run, or he's got to avoid a sack. I mean, I guess it's the line. I don't know. I can't really tell what's going on. But it seems like Kingsbury's game plan the last 2 weeks has been screens, sideways passing, and then make the receiver do all the work or run it with Jaden Daniels. Finally, he unleashes B-Rob and Eckler yesterday. I mean, Robinson had a hell of a game. And Eckler showed that he's not done. He's looking to get paid. So there were bright spots yesterday, and it was a bad Giants team to get a win against, and it was a bad Giants team to see what we have in certain places.
I mean, it looked like Danny Dimes was going to be back in business again.
No.
He was 5-1-1 against Washington in his career, where I looked it up. He had basically won 1/3 of his games otherwise. And he looked decent, for a lot of the game. He even carved him up running a little bit. And honestly, if Neighbors catches that ball around the 10-yard line at the end of the game, Washington would have lost that game. And Neighbors, I think, had 10 catches. They couldn't do anything with him again. The defense also is concerning. I mean, all those penalties, part of it is you got 60% new players.
Yeah.
So stuff's going to happen. And that's why you should have played them more in the preseason, but that's an old grind. The defense still can't get any pass rush generated. And I guess why would we expect it? I think they're going to trade. If they have a losing record by the trade deadline, which is in October, after week 9 now, I think it is. So midway season, I could see them trading for assets. Again, this they did it last year with Sweat and Chase Young, which I see Young is doing decent in New Orleans because he's got a show me contract he has to go do.
Yeah.
But without any pass rush, this secondary is screwed. I think Jeremy Chinn's been underperforming on there. St. Juice managed to survive yesterday without too much problem.
Hey, St. Juice punched that ball out. That was a nice fumble that he created, and Chin picked it up. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the defense. I mean, and then to bench Jamin Davis, Jamin Davis was a healthy scratch. That, and I understand Quinn's thought process. They wanted to get Johnny Newton out there in his first game. They needed more in other areas, but they want to see what they have with Johnny Davis, or Johnny Newton. I think they know what they have with Jamin Davis, and I don't think Jamin Davis is a part of the future plans. So there's one of your assets that you're talking about. They might be able to get rid of. You've always said it, and I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on this. There is some team out there that thinks, well, Washington used him wrong, I can fix him. So there's going to be somebody that will take him, and it's the same thing with Payne and Allen. I don't think they trade Payne. I think they're going to get rid of Allen. I believe he's on the last year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken, or the last year of guaranteed money. So I could see John Allen being one of the targets to get rid of, and I could definitely see Jamin Davis. But yeah, there's just absolutely no pass rush. I thought, it was just awful last week how they couldn't wrap up Baker Mayfield, and then still this week they couldn't wrap up Danny Dimes. I mean, that man's a statue back there. Come on.
Yeah, that's one reason why they're wanting to see Johnny Newton, so if they figure out, can we play him if we trade a midseason guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really sad part of this is that Quinn talked about, we want to see Newton play 12, 15 snaps, so we needed a second guy to fill in his, rotational draft picks. So you're telling me you'd rather have a fifth lineman play part-time than a first-round pick from 3 years ago that you said, well, we can make them do this. So you've obviously given up on Jamin Davis. Could you trade him? I guess for a bag of balls. And, you can't trash him too much because then he has no trade value. You almost want to sucker somebody into thinking, oh, you might have something here. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean that's the thing. If you can sucker somebody into giving you a 6th or a 7th round pick for him, then take it. I mean, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year anyway. They're going to let him go. But if you can sucker somebody out of an extra pick, and we know Adam Peters likes those late round picks. I mean, they have played, their late round picks. They have played this year. So yeah, I mean, you can't trash him too much. They tried. I'll say that. I mean, if I don't think we've seen the last of him this year, but they've tried to make something out of him. I mean, look, Jamin Davis getting benched compared to what the Panthers just bench Bryce Young today. I mean, it happens. First round picks get benched. It happens, but this guy was damaged goods from the get go. He was, and it's nothing against Jamin. Jamin was overdrafted. We've talked about this. Ron Rivera drafted him in the first round when he should have been a 3rd to a 5th round pick. It's not his fault that he was taken where he was selected. It was our inept front office.
I thought Jamie Davis got a little better every year. So at this point, you thought, okay, he's halfway decent, but their linebacking core is a different animal. And so they tried to move him there. 2 of Ron Rivera's first round picks are now been traded away, and they may trade him. And Forbes has an injury to his hand. They had to have surgery. So it's basically where your thumb meets your palm. And they call it skiers thing where, you got the poles breaking your hand. I think you got they also get caught in the face masking problems. Anyway, it's a painful, hard injury to do. 4 weeks is a conservative number by a lot of people I've read about, surgeons and all talking. I could see him going to midseason, and then they got to figure out, well, do we even want this guy in the mix? Well, yesterday they didn't have anything better. I'll say that. I love people on Twitter going, we need to sign a lockdown corner. Who do you think that is? That's a lockdown corner. There are no lockdown corners out there. There are guys like, Castro Fields and stuff like that. Just guys at this point. If you're any good at all, you're in the league. But I don't think Forbes makes it to next year. I think he's a cut sometime in March. They might as well burn some of his contract out at this point. They're not going to be able to trade him.
Yeah.
Jamin, they can't. If they can get something for him, great. But he's going to be a free agent too, which means there'll be no first round picks by Ron, or really even the seconds outside of Cosme. Wow, it's just bottom of the basement. And it's killing this defense too.
So I just found somebody put it into a spreadsheet. Every single pick that Ron Rivera made from 2020 until 2023. You ready?
Yeah.
Chase Young gone. Antonio Gibson gone. Sadiq Charles, didn't he retire?
Yeah, I think
Sadiq retired. Antonio Gandy Golden, haven't thought about him in a while. Keith Ishmael gone. Kaliki Hudson gone. Cameron Curl gone. James Smith Williams, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good.
Jamin Davis, Sam Cosme. Cosme's still on the team. Davis is still on the team. Cosme just got paid. So maybe that's a hit. That was a 2nd round pick. St. Juice is still on the team. Probably won't be here next year. Deami Brown still on the team.
Won't be here next year.
Won't be here next year.
Did you see that documentary by Deami Brown, by the way?
Yeah, there was a really good voiceover at the beginning of it on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
I tell you, I'm sitting there. Somebody says, "Check this out," and I'm sitting there going, "What? This is me." Nobody asked me about this. You don't get to just fair use law allows you to do certain things, but you have to credit people.
Where was that Where was that from?
It was one of my 2-minute videos. They just took it.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I made the filmmaker. I said, "Hey, dude, I can sit here and lecture to you about copyright law." And he's like, "Oh, it's." I said, "No, man. I've been in this business a long time." He's like 23.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot more about copyright law than you do. I'm not looking to pick a fight. It worked out really well for them. But I said, you got to put a credit on the page for me on YouTube. That's me. And he did. And so that's the end of that. I just thought it was really wild. I was like, if he'd asked me to do that, I couldn't have done something as good as what.
I know. He made you sound like it, like it was from ESPN.
It was good. I'll give it that.
Great.
It'd be nice.
Right. Real quick, just run down with this for me real quick. Bates, is he on the practice squad?
Bates is still playing.
Okay.
Yeah. John Bates, he caught a pass yesterday.
Derek Forrest still on the team. The Cheese is gone. William Bradley King, couldn't tell you. Shaka Tony gone. Dax Milne gone. Jahan Dotson traded. Fedarian Mathis hasn't done anything. But he's still on the team. Okay, Brian Robinson, third round pick. He
De-
looks to be a hit.
a decent back. Has not had 1,000-yard season yet, but not all his fault because of one, you got shot one year, and the second you got an offensive coordinator that just never used you.
Yeah, did you hear he kind of had a little dig at the enemy yesterday?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he was trying to do that or
I
not.
know, I know. Some people are perceiving it to be a dig at the enemy.
Yeah, I mean it's a good third round pick. I'll give it that.
All right, Butler still here. Hal traded. Cole Turner cut. Wasn't Cole cut? Cole's on the practice squad.
Yeah, Cole was on practice squad now.
Okay, Chris Paul still here.
Yes.
Christian Holmes, I believe Holmes is still here.
No, he's on practice squad, I think.
Is he? Okay. Forbes injured. Quan Martin still here playing. Stromberg,
Gone.
yeah, he's gone. Braden Daniels is here.
I don't think so.
I have no idea. Oh no, he's on season I think he's on IR. I don't know. KJ Henry gone. Chris Rodriguez practice squad, and Andre Jones Jr. couldn't tell you. So out of what 33 picks, what do we got? A handful of people that are still on this roster.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane to me. And that's I'm sorry to make it long winded like that, but that just goes to show you the ineptitude that we had at this team for many a year. So, you know, look, Adam Peters knew what he was getting into when he took this job, and as a fan, obviously we have to we want to look, we wanted to go out there and crush the Giants, but we have to understand what this team is. This team needs offensive line help still to this day, and they're not going to get it until the draft. I'm sorry, they're just not. They're going to get a tackle in the first round this year or next year's draft, but we just have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to say receiver, but I don't know if they're going to pick high enough to get one of the impact guys. And you can sign a free agent receiver,
Yeah, there's going to be some big names on the market. Jamar Chase has already come out and said he's not going to re-sign with the Bengals. He wants to test free agency because he feels disrespected. There's guys out there that wide receiver is not a hard position to fill.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, look at Terry. Terry was a third round draft pick. Terry's the leader of this team. He's a damn good receiver. You can find Terry McLaurin's out there. Plus, I'll be honest with you, Rick, there's so many guys now. This team is a destination. I feel like there's so many guys. And look, I know Ayuk was playing us. Ayuk was just playing it to get a big contract. But I truly believe that this team could be a destination where you have a young quarterback that's dynamic. You fix the offensive line. You've got a good offensive-minded offensive coordinator. I think this team could be a destination, so I don't think it would be as hard to find wide receivers in free agency. The line you're going to have to address in the draft.
And, it was attractive in that, okay, one, it's the nation's capital, so you're not going to some backwater. Two, there's room for a receiver here. You can find that, no problem. If you want to win, well, I mean, Philly's the best team in the division, but for how long, who knows? And Dallas is a mediocre team again. Giants suck. So, I mean, there's a reasonable chance if you just do something decent, this team could get into playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Dallas is hamstrung now. They've paid CD, they've paid Dak a lot of money. That's a lot of money tied up in two players. So, you're not going to go there to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good fan base. Things were rocking in the stadium yesterday. It was about 50-50. People always want to argue with me. There was more Giants, and other people say, no, there were more Redskins. Depends on where you're sitting, but I saw a lot more burgundy than I thought than I expected. Because in past years, it's been like an 80-20, Giants crowd.
You did kind of hear on TV, you did hear kind of some cheers for the Giants when they did some things, and then you did hear some boos for the Giants when they were doing their thing.
It was pretty close. I mean, the lower bowl was, I think, a touch more blue. I can't tell in the suites what's going on there.
Hey, all those upgrades got to pay for he's got to pay for them upgrades somehow. So look, I mean, it happens. Like you said, it's the nation's capital. It's a mixing bowl. People come from everywhere, especially New York. I mean, a lot of people come from New York down here to work. So it's expected. I mean, hell, imagine when the Steelers are here,
And we take all money,
Yeah. Hey, it don't matter if you're wearing black and yellow, if you're wearing burgundy and gold, your money's still green.
Yeah. So, all right, we're out of here. We're back on Thursday with an updated edition, and we'll pick the game for the Monday night game against Cincinnati Bengals. You have any way to lean on that one?
Yeah.
Cincinnati 0-2, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati's 0-2.
Yeah, so Washington should beat them. That's going to be easy.
I'll let you know on the next show.
Okay. I'm out of here. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent with your hosts, Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.